Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Poseidon Craft. I'm in the Luxterra Prairies right now, near my Poseidon Mount Rushmore, which of course is the face of Poseidon. In today's episode, if you watched the last episodes and saw the tease, I'm going to show you what I consider my greatest build in survival mode of all time. Very proud of this one, very excited to show you guys it, but first, we're gonna have to go to the shopping district and get ourselves some more food. I only got 15 pieces of beef on me, and we're gonna need more food to go where we're going. One of these days, I'm going to give you guys a new episode of Luxterra, just the updates we've done, because this building has been repurposed multiple times and is new. We've added, a few of our players have moved their houses, so there's a house in progress up there. And we've added things over here like Lab, which is the Laboratory of Artificial Biology. This is where we make all of our potions. And NAPA, which is the Nature and Animal Protection Agency. So there's a lot of new stuff happening in Luxterra. We just gotta show you guys at some point. So stay tuned for an updated Luxterra tour version. Okay, so I'm in the shopping district, and all we gotta do is go to the general store to get a bunch of beef. Oh, what? All the beef has been taken. Okay, we're going to take 11 beef, and we're going to hope that 25 beef is going to be enough to finish this video. So, let's get going, I suppose. Once you leave Luxterra and head over here into the prairie again, you'll come across this road over here. This road leads you to the Zephyr, the brand new village that I built, and I named the road Abivium Road because above and the suffix just still kind of sticks to the whole Latin theme of naming things. Oh, is there anything in here? No, there's not. Okay, so let's get this journey going. This actually took a lot longer than you might think, because everything is really built from blocks that you don't find in the overworld. For example, the middle strip is from the Blackstone. Those are Blackstone bricks, which are found in the Nether, in basalt biomes, whatever those biomes are called. And then the rest of it is really just built out of endstone, which, to be fair, is very easy to find on its own because it's like dirt or sand in the end. But to go to the end and have to mine it and avoid the Enderman, it's actually kind of a chore. So making this road was kind of time consuming and relatively difficult just to get all the resources. But I really like the way it came out. I used a bunch of the endstone in the natural kind of way. I kind of threw it inside of some of the, natural cave kind of buildings, so it doesn't look like it's just all man-made. I kind of wanted to incorporate some of the natural environments with the overworld into it as well. But we've got a pretty good distance to go still, so let's go ahead and fast forward through this journey, and I'll see you on the other side. I overestimated how much beef I was going to need. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've lost absolutely no food health so far, or no hunger. So that's my bad on my part. 23 is definitely going to be enough. Hello, chickens. So anyway, the end of this road, Abivium Road, will lead you to the Zephyr Swamp, which is just a massive swamp. It's not too small, it's not very large, but it is, I call it medium-sized. Let's see if we can spawn another chicken here. Nope, okay. Just a little side note, the lanterns are just made out of the endstone bricks with black stained glass, and then of course the lanterns, which just took up so much iron. And when we get to Zephyr, the actual village, you'll see how many resources I've used just to build the village itself, including the detailed stuff, so like the lanterns, the glass, everything that goes with it. So we're going to go through the swamp and then just kind of discover what I built. The rain is kind of throwing it off right now, but the color change of the sky makes me think that it's going to be nighttime soon, which is great because showing you guys this build at night is going to be extra special. So as the chunks slowly load, you can see what I built. A sky village, that's pretty much it. Pro tip, by the way, if you didn't know this already, if you crouch while climbing ladders, vines, or these root things or whatever, you stop. And the only way you can move is go up if you move up, or you can uncrouch to move back down. So just in case you didn't know that. Alright, back to our regular scheduled programming. And the main island that you get up is the village of Zephyr. It's not populated yet because I haven't really gotten to that yet. Once I finish building everything, I realized that there's not enough light for very good odds of zombie villagers to be spawned, and so it's going to take me a while to actually make this village populated. I think the way I'm going to do it is build another village or another island off in the distance, not light it up, and I'll build a bridge over here, and the more zombie village that spawn on that bridge, the more I'll bring over here and cure them. But this is it. This is the village of Zephyr. There are 5 islands that branch off of it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour from each one of them. But let's go ahead and start with the first island that I completely finished over here, which is the Temple Island, I guess you could say. We have a couple signs that give you a little description of it. It's the Temple of Dolo, which is one of the many gods and goddesses we've created in our realm. This is the goddess of the moon and the swamp. For obvious reasons, the swamp is below us, so that of course they're going to worship the goddess of the swamp. And the nice little thing I like about this is we use these blue fires from the nether when you put soul sand on it and light it up. It turns blue, and we use those as like a little offering. So you throw it in there, and boom, offering to the goddess. Let's eat one of those 23 pieces of beef that we brought with us. So yeah, nothing really special about this island other than the temple that we built here. You'll notice these custom-made lanterns, lamps, I guess you could call them. They're just made out of mushroom, they're called shroom lights, I think, and then the warped roots, of course. All that stuff you find in the forest in the nether. Very easy to make. One thing I want to point out before we go on to the next island, the space in between the islands a little bit different everywhere. I have in this one, for example, between the temple island and the next island, just some little small pieces of floating blocks or floating islands as well, with trees or different kind of lush materials and lanterns all over them, just to kind of fill the gaps more than just the custom floating lanterns that I did make. And speaking of which, the floating lanterns that you see completely populate the entire sky and fill it is just stained glass made with chains and soul sand lanterns. The idea came to me from something that another player built in our village. She put floating lanterns in her house, and I decided that's pretty cool, I want to do that. So I decided to just make them soul lanterns because it feels more magical to kind of what Zephyr is about, a magical little village. And the chains and stained glass kind of just came with it, and yeah, I just wanted to make it look nice. It's got a lot of cool colors, a lot of warm colors. It's supposed to make you feel like they're floating. They almost look like balloons to me. That's kind of what they look like to me, like floating balloons. So, you know, use your creativity. They can be whatever you want. On to the next island. You can see that this island's bridge and pathway is much longer than the first one. That's because, and that's on purpose, this one also took the longest and was the hardest to make. This bridge takes you to a new biome, actually. So while it's raining here right now, and on all the other islands, over here, it's snowing, because I noticed when I started building these biomes that this area over here was actually all the way over here by the spruce biome area. So I figured if I go... I got sliced on these berries. I figured if I went over here with the island, which took a very long time, that maybe it would snow over here, and it did. So it looks very pretty over here. I like this area because it's much different from the rest of the build. That's why I used brick instead of quartz and endstone to build this area. And the inside of this building, not finished yet. I will at some point, so just stay tuned for that, I guess. Between the Snowy Manor Island and the next island I'm going to show you is this large waterfall. The only way to really get there, because, I mean, I don't want people to build their way there, so please don't do that, but you ender pearl over it or you can leech away over it. So we're going to pearl over here just to kind of check things out. Nothing special really. It's not meant to be practical or anything. It's just a pretty little area. Just something to fill this dead void space in between all the islands. I didn't want to make it look like there was just sky in it all. So I decided to make a couple of semi-larger islands than the rest of the small filler islands, and then put a waterfall into it. So that's what I did, and I think it came out really, really nicely. It complements the rest of the build, and it looks good to fill this area in here. So let's go ahead and pearl back over and show you the next island. This bridge leads us to the Zephyr Tower. Nothing special about it, or again, nothing practical. Oh my gosh, look at all these zombies and creepers. Okay, let's take care of all these mobs first, and then make sure it's safe and that creepers don't explode this very difficult build that took me a very long time and a lot of sweat, blood, and tears to make. So let's get rid of all these first. Okay, I was able to get rid of all the creepers and zombies safely, so nothing exploded. So here we are, back to, again, the irregular scheduled programming. The tour of Zephyr. On this island, we just have the Zephyr Tower. Again, nothing practical about it. I mean, I guess you could technically climb these crimson roots all the way up, but that's pointless. It doesn't lead anywhere. Building materials, just quartz and stone, the roots, obviously, and then I'm built just a stack of these mushroom lights all over it, and then glass. The idea behind it is that if you were to kind of take it from any of the sides and squeeze them together, that's kind of like a puzzle, that it squeezes together and it would close up and the light wouldn't shine anymore. The way I built it was I started here with a slab and then built my way all the way around it like a spiral, but a very square spiral. I didn't try to make it look you know, like you typically make a spiral, very geometrical and square, and the outcome of it is, it looks like a puzzle piece, and I really enjoy it. Thank God the sun is coming up and I don't have to worry about more creepers spawning in here. Okay, anyway, this island over here is actually the only island that I didn't build anything on. This was built by another one of our players. To be honest with you, this started as a team project. This was supposed to be me and Chick Thompson building Sky Village, but she kind of bailed. Anyway, she came back to build this really cool island, which I appreciate. It adds to the whole enchanting and, you know, magical feel of this village. Thanks, Trick Thompson. This is a very nice build, so thank you for your addition. You know what, now that I think about it, we should probably name this island after her, and not the Zephyr Library. All is well. The last island off of the actual village island before we show you the village I'm going to show you is probably my favorite island, the Zephyr Woods. This is the final addition to the entire build, and it took so long because it is probably the same size as all of these other islands combined, if not bigger. And the reason I built it is because once I got done with all of this, I thought it was missing something. It just, a magical village can't be finished without a magical forest. That's just the way it's going to have to be. On the island, I'm going to bring in a farmer that's going to live in here. This is his farmhouse, just to kind of have a farmer in the village. I like to be able to make it feel like this village does get its food from somewhere. And the fences over here are actually not fences at all. If you notice, I just jumped right over them. They're just trapdoors. They are those trapdoors that we used in the mushroom village, and then these trapdoors are the opposite, timber from, or, you know, nether brick stuff, or nether plank stuff. These are made out of the warp things. So, you know, a little nice little farmer guy area. I hope he stays safe and doesn't fall off, because technically speaking, if he jumps on top of this and then drops down, he would perish, and then I wouldn't have my Zephyr farmer anymore. Maybe I didn't think this through. But we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to act like he's going to be fine in there. Anyway, back to the tour of the Zephyr Woods. You can see some of these custom trees are kind of built small. They're just off one trunk and then blah, blah, blah. A few little bushes on top of them. But then some of the other ones, like the birch one, a little bit taller, took a lot more resources. And then I have these big oaky ones that have, you know, these canopies that kind of go over into the woods and give it a little bit of more of a darker, enchanting aesthetic and makes the light in here pop more. You can't really tell with this one, but this is technically a custom tree as well. It's just completely covered by all the other large trees. It's not a weeping willow, but it's kind of inspired by weeping willow, so it creeps up in a weird way from its main trunk as it grows up, and then has these massive just branches that go out and has huge canopies on top. Over here, I decided to take some of that lushness away, so there's a little bit more of an open area. The reason I did that was because I wanted to show that this tree off. Just after I had, you know, made the first one, I realized that this wasn't going to work. I can't show off these awesome custom trees that I built if I'm going to cover them with all those other large trees. So I decided to keep this one open, and this is what it looks like. It's a little more looking like a weeping willow. I like this one a lot. I like that I left this open so that it looks nice and you can actually see what this is. I do want to show everybody one more thing. This little parkour area that I made on accident. You just jump over the lantern and you can get from the Dolo Temple Island back to the Zephyr Woods Island. You just have to be good at it, I guess. I'm going to start making tour videos in the daytime only, because at night when creepers spawn, you can avoid them as much as you want, and then when daytime comes, you feel comfortable and you have this false sense of security, and they still pop up and destroy your stuff. This is this tree's supposed to have a trunk. It's supposed to hit the ground here, but the creeper took it out. So we'll have to fix that at some point when we have some more lumber on us randomly. Let's go ahead and show you the actual village of Zephyr now. All of the buildings are made out of nether planks. Just because I like the colors that they use, they look magical to me, and I didn't want to use just quartz on all of my buildings, because if you can tell, like the tower and the temple, they're made out of just quartz essentially, and then all of the ground, or most of the ground, is made out of endstone or quartz, and then this little bit of purple. So I decided to make the houses out of these planks, these magical looking planks. And once we get villagers in here, they'll have little villager spots or blocks so they can actually become cartographers or whatever, and have beds to sleep in. This upstairs is really just for players. In here we have a lot of the kind of industrial blocks. So you've got your fletchers, your smithing tables, your smokers and blast furnace, or whichever ones this one is. I think this is a blast furnace. And you got a couple of grindstones, and that thing. Stone cutter, that's what that's called. So, you know, this is where you find, well, once I have villagers, that's where they'll get their jobs in there. This building over here, relatively big on the outside, pretty small on the inside, because it's filled with looms and cauldron, because everywhere I put looms, I like to have a cauldron, because if you make a mistake with your banner, you want to be able to fix it real quick. Couple of beds up here as well, so that villagers can sleep in here. This house over here, with the really cool pink and teal glass on the top, or cyan glass, is where I'm going to put my librarian kind of people. So there's only one lectern here, and then there's some more stuff up here with another lectern and a lot more beds. So you can tell that most of the villagers are going to be sleeping in this house with the 5 beds that are in here, because some of these other houses, when I first started building them, I realized I didn't build them with the idea that I'm going to put beds in them as well. So I had to kind of fix that and add beds into just one house and compensate for that. This house over here has the smokers in it and a couple of beds. Pretty simple house, nothing much to it, just that. And of course every single one of these has those clocks, because that is my MO. That's my signature move. The buildings I build, I like to put that in there. This is the final house I wanted to show you. Small, looks insignificant, but once you go inside of it, it has a basement. The basement leads you to a little nice natural area that has the end portal. This is the Nether Portal. The cool thing about this Nether Portal is, because when you build Nether portals within or too close to each other, they always bring themselves back to only the one original Nether portal that you had built. So when we go into this portal, it actually takes us back to Luxterra, because you can go into it, go to the Nether, go the portal back, and then you pop out at Luxterra, not Zephyr. So I like that a lot, because then it kind of adds to the mystery and like the hidden aspect of this village, that you can't get here that way, but you can always leave here that way. So yeah, this little area, the idea to me came just to have a little secret spot that I can put the portal into, and I figured if I don't want to make it look like a basement or a house, I want to make it look natural, like this portal has always been here and everything grew around it, and then the villagers just said, hey, let's build a village around that portal. So that's kind of the idea between that. That's it for this episode. I'm going to go ahead and put my Elytra on and give you guys an aerial tour of everything, but I want to make sure I get out of here before any more creepers show up and explode my very hard work. So thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. As usual, go ahead, subscribe, like, let me know you like what I do, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye!